So we're gonna take it to a satisfying. So we're gonna take it back.
How long have you had the album ready for?
It got finished like just before it went off to like pressing, or we started working on it probably like a year and a half ago maybe. Started writing for it, and then it's one of them things where unless you have a deadline to sort of push against, it's like when is anything finished? But as soon as we were told it has to be delivered on this day, it's going to like be mastered or whatever, it was done. So whenever that was, done.
How did you want this album to move on from Change and Tune?
With like all other albums before, it'd always been rushed. Like between tours and stuff, we had to fit in writing and recording. With this one, we didn't have a label or a manager or anything, so we just had time. We have our own studio now as well, so we just worked on it for ages, and it just came out different. It just happened. There wasn't any sort of let's make it different to this album or that album by doing this. It just happened, sort of thing.
Fair enough. With that all being the case, were you doing it in your own studio and everything like that? Were you tempted to just go out on your own? I mean, this is your first album for Sony. It's a big label.
Yeah. No. The thing is, it's like the security of being on a label is nice, and knowing that when you're away on tour and you're like busy with other things, it's a worry that nothing else would get done sort of behind the scenes. It's just nice, and the people that we work with at Sony are like-minded people, and they're our sort of age and stuff. So yeah, it's good. No, I like it.
You use the money from your island departures kind of from the studio. What's it like? Is it quite sort of home studio?
It's not. No, that's the plan was originally. We were just looking somewhere to like store our gear, and then when we found a place, there was enough room for like a rehearsal room. So like, cool, store the gear, and we can rehearse there. And then there was more room. So once we got the builders in, so we made a control room, and the original idea was to have like a little DIY home studio sort of thing to demo in, and it just really quickly got to the point where it was like a studio that we would have paid to go to before, so it was pretty sweet.
You worked with Dan Lancaster on this album. He's worked with like quite a lot of big pop bands. What does he bring to the process for a band like you?
He recorded our first ever album as well, and we've been friends with Dan since the band started. So the best thing he brought to the table was, I mean, he's a really talented singer and a really talented songwriter and guitar player, but it's having the element like when we're able to say, that's crap, we don't want to do that, and you just move on straight away. Or he's got no qualms of saying to us, you do that again, that's terrible. Like, you can just have that sort of rapport because he's friends.
So why did you decide this one should be self-titled?
I always find that if I'm ever going through a band that have like an extensive back catalogue and I'm sort of listening to them for the first time, I'll normally go for the self-titled because I think there must be a reason it's self-titled. So we wanted this album to be that album for us because it's the one we spent time on, and it might be you never know, it could be our last one, so better now than never.
What kind of album is it lyrically?
For want of a better word, it's quite vague, whereas before everything was quite autobiographical, but I can't even remember the guy's name, but it was this songwriter guy that I met, and he said, would you rather be 100 people in East London's favourite band, or would you rather write music that someone could hear the song and take like a vast amount of people can take from it whatever they want, you know, if it's a little bit more, there's more leeway in the lyrics, so I went for that this time. But it's just something different, man. Like, I can do that if you like that kind of lyrical style, you can listen to those albums. This one's something else.
How much touring have you got lined up?
Extensive touring, and a lot of it's like international, but we haven't really announced a lot of stuff yet, so.
And finally, what's the best album you've heard this year?
Best album I've heard this year? I don't know what. I don't really listen to a lot of new music. When did the new Bombay album come out? That was this year, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, here we go. We're coming. Thank you. We're jamming.